Hi pen fans, this is your personal pen maker, Brian at the Edison Pen Company, edisonpen.com. Hey, I am very excited to be introducing a new model to our signature line. This model will be called the Elysian. Now, overall, this design is quite a departure from our normal designs, and essentially what I wanted to do was explore curves. This design really only has one straight line on it, and that's the very top of the cap. So I'm very proud of this design. I think it has an amazing amount of elegance to it. The aesthetics, I think, are wonderful. One thing that you will probably notice is that there's no coincidence that we introduced our hardwood pen rests only about a week before this pen, because this pen is clipless, of course, which means that it can roll. And I've always wanted to offer good pen rests anyways, but the pen rest that we introduced about a week ago is actually designed perfectly for this pen. The curvature on the pen rest matches the curvature of this cap perfectly. So the pen rest was kind of designed to go hand in hand with this new design, but of course the pen rest works for all of our designs wonderfully. So that being said, let's have a look at this pen. I'm going to show you some photos and then also a 3D model. Okay, so when it comes to the design of this, I wanted to outline really what the foundation of this design was for me. What I really wanted to do, as mentioned, was explore some curves, but what I wanted to really accomplish was just one continuous, graceful line that would go from the barrel all the way to the end of the section, and that's what I was trying to accomplish here. So this line here is meant to really just have one continuous, graceful curvature that starts at the back of the barrel all the way up to the section. That was really, when I sat down and I had an idea for a pen, this is where it all started. So let me bring in a couple items here, bring back the nib and the cap, and then let's just take a little bit of a tour around this pen. So from all angles here, and of course, like I said, I'll get into a lot more discussion about this, but I think the 3D model can be very beneficial to see this pen from all angles that a lot more difficult to photograph. And I think that, of course, 3D model is identical to what we managed to create. All right, so this is the Elysian. As mentioned, our new cherry and our cherry and walnut hardwood pen rests were really designed specifically for this pen. And so we have this divot that goes down the center of these pen rests, and then this divot also has a curve shape to it as well. And that curve matches this curve on the Elysian perfectly. So I don't know that I'll be able to pick this up with the camera, but when the Elysian rests on this pen rest, maybe you can see from this view that that fits perfectly, and then you're not going to see it from this view, but the curvature that is at this point right here is identical to the curvature on this cap. So while this hardwood pen rest was designed specifically for the Elysian, of course, it works great with any of our pens or any fountain pen, really. So so as I said, this right here was the foundation of this design. I wanted to have this curvature appear to be one nice, continuous, flowing line leading up to the nib, and I think we accomplished that very, very well. It does fit very nicely in I'm a guy that's 5'11" with normal size hands for a guy my size. It fits very well in my hand, but one thing that is really neat about this is that if you would like to post it, and actually I do recommend it because I really like the way that it feels balanced posted, this pen posts very deep and very secure, all the way up to here. One thing that is really interesting about this, and it's not that common in fountain pen design, it's actually the first pen that we've ever introduced like this, but one thing that's very interesting, this is another Elysian. The posted length of this pen is actually a bit shorter than the capped length. You know, that's not a typical fountain pen design, and I think it's kind of interesting. When you get a barrel that can post this deep, you can kind of accomplish that, which I think is great. So posted is how I prefer to use it, and it feels wonderful in my hand. So now let's quickly talk about overall dimensions, but then also wherever you're watching this from, I'll have a link to where you can find a full sheet that will show all specifications on this pen. But the most important specifications here is the overall length of the pen. Capped is 5.84 inches or 148 millimeters. The length of the cap itself is 2.79 inches or 71 millimeters. The diameter of the cap band right here is 0.62 inches or 15.8 millimeters. The diameter of the barrel right here at the threads is exactly a ½ inch or 12.7 millimeters. The overall length of the section from the barrel threads to the end of the section is 1.15 inches or 29 millimeters. The diameter of the section at the end up here is 0.42 inches or about 11 millimeters. And then one thing that is kind of important is right here is about where people are going to grip the pen. If people hold the pen a little bit higher like this, that's fine, but I think that most people will grip right here. So right about where you're going to grip the pen, it's going to be 0.390 millimeters, 3.90 inches or 7.3 millimeters. And then one thing that is actually interesting regarding this pen is that it is the lightest pen that the Edison Pen Company offers. Now, we've always had pretty light pens, but this actually comes in at about 14.7 grams capped. And if you wanted to use this unposted, the barrel itself, or this what's in my hand right now, is only 9 grams. So this is really what I was after. Elegance, nice curvature, a very light design visually, but also a very light design when it comes to actual weight. And now here we have a good visual representation as to how the Elysian stacks up next to other Edison pens when it comes to overall length. So this is length capped, and I've chosen some of our more popular designs that I think that many people might already have in their collection. So here is a Brockton, Beaumont, Jameson, Comet, Menlo, the Elysian, a normal sized Collier, and then a Collier Grande. Now I'd like to cover just a few details that this unique design can give us a few limitations when it comes to customizations that our normal pens can usually accommodate. One is that the Elysian will be a cartridge converter only. It could be converted to an eyedropper, of course, but we cannot offer this as a draw filler. And the reason is because the barrel is so narrow at this point. This is where we would normally mount our draw filler mechanism, but it's so narrow that the mechanism would never fit at this location. So cartridge converter or eyedropper only. The other thing that I think a lot of people might want to know is, of course, this pen is going to have a propensity to roll on the desk. Now that's why we engineered the pen rests, but could our serpent roll stop be mounted on this pen? The answer is no, because this curvature that we've engineered here just won't be conducive with the way that we engineered the serpent roll stop. Now, our spherical roll stop, which would normally mount around this position onto a pen, I honestly don't know the answer to this yet, but if anybody's interested in whether or not we can mount a spherical roll stop onto this, I will have that answer pretty soon, because the only thing that I can think of is that because of this curvature happening like this, normally we mount our spherical roll stops at a perfect right angle, which looks, in my opinion, the best. But in order to mount it on here, we'd probably have to rotate it or bring it down at this angle so that it would follow this curvature. Now, will it look right if the spherical roll stop is, pointing this direction instead of being a right angle? Well, hard to say. I'm not sure that I think it would look really, really terrible, but then my only other concern is that will penetrate, the spherical roll stop will penetrate into the cap. Will it interfere with the barrel posting? And the answer is, I don't know yet. But by the time I need to know this, and if you want to place a custom order for one, I will definitely have that answer. Okay, hey, thank you very much for watching this. As of now, of course, the Elysian is ready for any custom orders. I am recording this video actually about a week before we're officially going to announce it. So as far as current inventory goes, now we never like to launch a brand new pen without having plenty of current inventory so that people don't have to wait to through our custom backlog to get a new pen. Right now, I think we're going to have around about 30 of these pens ready for our current inventory. But like I said, since I'm recording this a week before, if we're extra productive, maybe we can get that up to 35 or 40. So there will be a good amount of pens that are ready to buy immediately, or a custom order is welcome, of course. Pricing on this pen, we're going to charge $250 for this pen. Let me know your thoughts overall, everybody. Please, whenever we have a new product design like this, I love getting customer feedback. Let me know what your thoughts are on this, especially because this is a bit of a departure, kind of a new design, a new idea for me. And I would love it to have some feedback from our fans on this, okay? Thank you.